Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me for another video. I got a surprising one for you guys. I watched basketball tonight. Yes, I did. I have been keeping up with this series since game one, essentially. I might have missed game 5, the game where the Warriors just got blew out. But yes, I have been watching some NBA, and we are going to talk about game 6 of the Warriors versus the Rockets, a game that was big for the Warriors. And as a Warriors fan, a Steph Curry fan, I'm scared that the Warriors might be finding their way to the house. They're about to find their way to Cancun. But before we get into all of that, please be sure to hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Alpha Podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And without further ado, let's get into it. So this is game 6 of the Rockets versus the Warriors series. It's been a great series, in my opinion. It's been a great product. It's been feisty. Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, the Thompson twin. It's been a great series. And shockingly, a lot of people had the Warriors favored going into this series. It's a 2 against a 7 seed, so you would think that the Warriors would possibly be the favorable seed, but they weren't. But the Warriors were up 3-1. And which game 4 was a scrappy one. I went into them tonight. Well, let's just backtrack it to here. All series, the Warriors have been playing small ball. They've been able to capture a win, especially in game 4 when Steven Adams got into foul trouble, was able to foul him out. And they've been having to play small ball, and they've been having to play efficient, specifically with game 4 when they won. I think Pods had 27 points. Jimmy had almost 30. It was an off night for Steph Curry, but Pods, he cleaned up for him, and they got out with a close victory. So going into tonight, I was sitting here thinking, like, the Warriors really need to close this game out. Game 6 at home. The way you just got beat down in game 5. You don't want nothing to do with going back to Houston game 7. And sadly, that's what's going to happen. This game, the Warriors only led for 3 minutes. This game was, as a Warriors fan and a Steph Curry fan, this game was annoying, gut-wrenching, because I promise you, every time the Warriors scored, it's like the Rockets answered. It was like the Fred Vanvleet game of all time. It felt like every time Fred Vanvleet touched the ball, it was going into the basket. Literally, Vanvleet had, how many points did he had? He had 29 points. He had a plus 12 point difference, plus minus, 6 for 9 from the 3-point line, 9 for 9 for the free throw line, and he shot like 54, 56% from the field. I mean, he was super efficient tonight. Jaylen Green, he's another no-show. Jaylen Green ended up having 12 points. He was in the double digits. I think 4 games this series he's been in single digits. So hey, he done a little bit better. I think he might have had high 20s, or was it 38? He had one of the games of the series. Was it game 1? I don't even remember. Jaylen Green's been an absolute no-show. Essentially, how this game was going tonight, the Warriors would score, and it was a Fred VanVleet answer. Specifically in the third and the fourth quarter, Jabari Smith was coming off the bench answering with a 3-point ball. The Warriors couldn't do anything right. And what scares me going into game 7, the Warriors have been playing small ball. And you got to give Coach Udoka a lot of credit. That tandem with Sengun and Steven Adams, the Warriors cannot rebound the basketball. They just can't. You're starting your rotation at one point, Gary Payton II, Steph Curry, Moses Moody or Pods, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Okay, that's like your give and go. And then you got the post fella, which I didn't know him till this season, that they have been rotating in and out as well. If you are a Warriors fan, you're going into this game super scared, game 7, because I honestly don't think they have a way to win this next game. The way they got out-rebounded like this at home, the way they didn't play with no energy at home. Game 6, closeout game, got to have it. I don't like the Warriors' chances. And this is coming from a Warriors guy. I'm a Warriors fan. But I'm going to be totally honest. If Fred VanVleet continues to play like he has the past 2 games, Shingun, Jalen Green is going to be I think Jalen Green is possibly going to be another no-show. The only thing they got to hope for the Warriors is if Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry have an absolute masterclass, and you got to get something off the bench. Pods, you need more. Post, you need more. You got to play Kevin Looney at some point. Steve. They were fouling Steven Adams in the third and fourth quarter. And there were situations where they fouled him. He misses the free throws, and they couldn't get the offensive rebound. They couldn't get the defensive rebound. They were giving up offensive rebounds off the free throws. It was just horrible. That lets you know how bad the Warriors couldn't get a stop defensively. They were having to foul Steven Adams just for a chance to give up a possession with no points. Because honestly, every time the ball went up for a rebound, off the glass, off the rim, I really felt like the Warriors had a 20 to 10% chance of getting the basketball. And you had situations tonight on offense. You had the circus plays with Jimmy Butler. I counted maybe 3 or 4 type of circus clownish type of baskets that he made and ended up getting and ones off of them, or didn't even mean to make them. Had plenty of those tonight. Same thing with Steph Curry. Moses Moody was hot to a certain degree tonight. He made some plays here and there. But Draymond turning the ball over. Steph can be careless with the ball as well at times. Being very passy on offense. The Warriors is going to have to match the Rockets' intensity because we know how the Rockets and their brand of basketball that they're trying to play with. They're trying to play tough. They're trying to play physical. That's what they've been doing all series. And these last 2 games, it's been showing. And they've been putting on a clinic when it comes to just physicality and matching the intensity of the Warriors. The Warriors have not had an answer. In no way, form, or fashion, the Warriors have not had an answer. Tonight, the Warriors, they would make a shot. Rockets was answering. And my Lord, what an all-time awful fourth quarter by the Warriors. It was super bad. It was so bad. Because at the end of the third quarter, you had that play with, was it Jimmy or Steph? I cannot remember. And the Warriors were only down 1 or 2 going into the fourth quarter. Then after that, I go pop some popcorn. I come back. Fred VanVleet gets like a 4-point play, I believe. I don't even remember. And all of a sudden, I look. Jalen Green gets a couple. They get a couple. They're up 8 already. Steve Kerr calls a timeout in like the first minute and a half of the fourth quarter. Then all of a sudden, they're up almost 16 plus. It was embarrassing. And credit to the commentators who pointed out Doris Burke. She didn't point it out, but her partner did. Their urgency wasn't there. The championship pedigree of the Warriors were not there tonight. That Game 6 mentality, got to close them out at home because you do not want to give this team hope. One thing that you cannot do is give a team hope. This is a young team with no playoff experience. They're going into Game 7 in Houston. That crowd is going to be going crazy. And you got to hope with your 7-man rotation, you're going to have to win it out because the Warriors were really wanting to win this game because they played their starters a crap ton of minutes. Draymond played 37 minutes. Steph played 42 minutes. Jimmy played 42 minutes. It's not enough. I mean, Jackson Davis, you don't want to give him a try, Steve. Jonathan Kuminga. Again, comment down below what you guys think about this. Can we all agree that Jonathan Kuminga is like probably one of the most pulverizing figures in the NBA right now? Super talented kid, so much talent, but Steve Kerr cannot find him a consistent rotation on this roster. I don't know. I guess it's the front office still wanting to keep him just because of the talent and try to develop him, but something about it, Jonathan Kuminga has not earned Steve Kerr's trust because historically, Kuminga has played very well against the Rockets. He's played well against the Rockets this season. But some way and somehow in this playoff series, Kuminga cannot even see the floor. I think he last played possibly I think he might have played in game 4 when they won. You got to get athletes out there, because if Coach Udoka continues to do what he was doing this game, run that double tandem with Sengun and Steven Adams, playing the 4 and the 5, you're not going to be able to rebound the basketball. You got to hope and pray somebody like Pods or somebody goes up and tries to tap the ball, or Jimmy. You're not going to have fresh legs on Sunday night. Steph and Jimmy play 42 minutes. They're both 35 years old, pushing 36. They were really betting on winning this game tonight. The Warriors are in a bad spot. If I was a betting man, I can honestly say I'm putting all my chips in on the Rockets. They're younger. They're matching the intensity that are going to be on their home court. The way Sengun, VanVleet's been playing defensively, Jabari Smith coming in, making a couple baskets, playing defense. Steven Adams rebounding the basketball. Not having to rely on Jalen Green. Couple of bench guys coming in making... Yeah, I would bet on that. Because that fourth quarter, if that fourth quarter by the Warriors was a glimpse of what could happen going into Sunday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in the fourth quarter, I want to say with 4 or 5 minutes left, the Warriors only scored 5 points. They couldn't find a basket. It was at the point in the game when it was 106-89. It was bad. Because I was sitting here hoping all game that the Warriors could, but they just couldn't. Defensively, they couldn't get a stop, and offensively, they went ice cold. Could not find a basket. Could not buy a bucket. If the Warriors do lose on Sunday, it's going to be a wasted opportunity. You traded Jimmy Butler, so it was a short-term solution because you thought you had a team that was good enough to make a playoff push. I don't see that team. I don't see this team beating the Nuggets or the Clippers. I don't see them beating Oklahoma City. I definitely probably don't even see them beating the Timberwolves, because that's possibly the team that they're going to have to face if they do end up winning on Sunday. Neither one of these teams are going to make any impact in the West after this. Whoever comes out winning this series, the Warriors or the Houston Rockets. Right now, I'm highly favoring. I'm probably favoring. I would say the Celtics. I have too much faith in the Celtics. I don't trust the Thunder right now, but we're not going to get into all that. Specifically in this game, Jimmy Butler was a short-term piece to your puzzle to hopefully winning a championship. And to go out this early in the first round, the Warriors shouldn't even be in this position. They were supposed to originally be a 6 seed. They weren't even supposed to play in the play-in tournament. They didn't play their cards right at the end of the season and ended up losing the game that they didn't need to, the second last game of the season. But what you need a bench. The bench is not it for the Warriors. Have been known in their dynasty run to have a bench, but right now they do not have a consistent rotation. Outside of Pods tonight coming off the bench, Gary Payton. Well, here's essentially your guys that you were subbing in and out pretty much. Pods, Gary Payton II, Buddy Hield, and Kevin Looney came in for a little bit of minutes here and here. And post. That's it. Mainly post, Gary Payton II, and Pods. It's not working. Especially the way you're getting absolutely dogged on the boards. It's not working. We got to find something different, something new going into Game 7, because if you really think that you're going to go into Houston and try and hope and pray you get to win in the shootout, it's not going to be a recipe for winning. It's going to be a recipe for disaster, because I don't see a scenario where the Warriors are going to be able to shoot any better than what they did tonight and they were at home. So I don't see them shooting any better at Houston, even though Steph Curry historically owns Houston in the playoffs. Do I see a scenario realistically where Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry come out on top? I really do. In my heart of hearts, I truly think the fourth quarter was a shade of what Sunday could be because the Warriors are tired physically. Steph and Jimmy cannot get reliable sources of scoring outside of them two. You can't trust Draymond to score. Moses Moody realistically can't create his own shot. Then Pods is Pods. He's like he's on and off. You either get one or the other. Overall, I can say it's been a great series. It's been a good watch, really intense. One comment I can make, even though I am a referee, I think the refereeing was not very good tonight, not very consistent in my opinion. That's just a little nugget here or there because early on there was some ticky-tack fouls, and then later on in the game you want to make them play. Then we go back to calling the fouls, which, you know, the officiating objective lens, you got to think of it in an objective lens, give them the benefit of the doubt. But altogether, I think they were very inconsistent tonight. And more importantly, Draymond's got to do less barking to the officials and worry about playing ball. That's one thing I can say that was going away for tonight. The Warriors were more worried about barking with the officials over calls and actually wanted to play basketball. And that's why they got in the position they were put in tonight. They need to worry about actually playing basketball and be able to match the intensity of the Rockets. Because right now, the odds, as they say in the Hunger Games, the odds are not in their favor. Not in the slightest bit. But hopefully, I do hope we get to see more Steph Curry in the playoffs. I want to see him going up against Ant-Man along with Jimmy Butler. That's my ideal pick and my ideal matchup for the next round of the playoffs. But we're just going to have to wait and see. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do not hesitate to hit the like button on the video. Comment down below, who do you want to see in the next round going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves? Are you rooting for the Houston Rockets? Are you rooting for the Golden State Warriors? Did you think the Warriors choked this game? Do you think they have any chance going up into Houston and beating them on Houston's home court in a Game 7? Let me know that down below in the comments as well. I enjoyed making this video for you guys, and I will see you guys on the next one. Be sure to check out the Alpha Podcast in my links below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya.